Hi, this week, we're on multimedia discussion board number 3. Um, During this multimedia discussion board, I'll be touching off the ideas and basic concepts of Luther Gulick and Chester Barnyard. Sorry if I butcher these names, I'm super horrible at saying people's names. Um, Luther Gulick, his basic concepts were his ideas and basic concept was organizational structure. Um, I thought this was interesting only because I do work in the public sector and I working with the police department, and I do see the benefits of an organizational structure. And his biggest key concepts was POSCORB, and that's the planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting. It was important that the manager, the people that are in charge, kept everything organized and, basically kept everybody in line. That there is I don't want to say a chain of command, but there's definitely like a hierarchy. There's somebody at the very top, and then it trickles down to the lowest people, and everything pretty much is uniform. And the fact in their goals and what the organization stands for. He was very adamant that the people at the very top do affect the people at the very bottom, and basically, again, like I said, there is a chain of command. Chester Barnyard, he focused on. Sorry, I'm trying to turn this off. Chester Barnyard, he focused on informal communication. He thought that this was important throughout the organization, whether that there should be a sense of formal communication and there should be a sense of informal communication, and with the informal communication will come more, the organization will be able to work a little bit more smoothly, or they will be able to benefit better if the people within the organization have that informal relationship and are able and feel comfortable to talking with one another. The evaluation for it, how I see it, is that formal and informal communication, I believe they're both important. Going back to my job and where I work, I definitely see that there is both within the department. I know that when I'm speaking to another officer, it's a little bit more informal. I can talk to them about my weekend. I can talk to them about what's going on in my life at the time, how's school, how's the family. When I go a little higher up, I deal with admin, like our lieutenant or a captain or the chief of police. It is very, hey sir, how are you? Very formal, very about my job, and very we pretty much keep it on the job basis. But that doesn't mean it's not open to an informal relationship or conversation between the chief of police and myself. It's just I don't see him as often. I don't think that informal communication is necessarily bad, but I do see where it could get kind of messy. When you're putting your personal life out there with people that you work with, it does allow people into your life, and it does allow people into your business, and you got to be careful with that. Formal communication, I don't think that it's bad. It depends on the place that you work. I think that where I work, to be formal and to be very matter of fact and about our job is not a problem. But I feel that because it's such a small department that I work for, informal communication and relationships are a lot easier to form because it's more of like a family rather than a big corporation. Whereas if I worked for LAPD, it'd probably be formal communication all the way around. For POSCORB, I thought that this was probably this is the idea or concept I've resonated most with when looking at Gulick and his ideas and concepts. I do agree that there is also a reason for chain of command. There should be a direct supervisor that you can go to, but that supervisor should have somebody they can go to too as well, and somebody they have to report to. I believe it keeps everybody on check, and it allows certain relationships to be formed. somebody at the bottom doesn't necessarily need to go to the CEO. And I saw this in my time at Disneyland when I couldn't go straight up to Bob Iger and I couldn't be like, hey, look, I'm having problems. I need this day off. There was, a lead I can go to, a manager I can go to, and, I just had to climb the steps. Yes, it was a little bit more tedious and it was harder to get what I need because there was so many managers and there was so many leads that, there could be a lead this day that I'm talking to about one problem and then the next day it's somebody different. So I think that the pros and cons with that is, it does allow personal relationship with somebody that, you if you do see them often, but if you don't see them often, like, the leads change their schedules or something like that, it can create some type of miscommunication and you can feel like you're getting lost in a sea of people. Well, I should have saved my examples for this slide, but I was able to put it in to my other two slides. But yes, I think that informal communication definitely does relate to the job that I work now. It does depend on where you work and what the environment is in the organization that you work for, which can make it problematic or not. I do think that having a hierarchy and a chain of command is a good idea. Again, everything kind of varies on where you work and how you work and the people you work with. I know that my mom, she works for the Department of Mental Health, and she is very close with all her coworkers and her supervisors, and it is more of a personal interaction. Their communication isn't formal; it's very informal, and she works with her best friend, so it is very informal, and they are pretty close as a department, and they thrive pretty well. But if you look at the county of Los Angeles as a whole, it's a big organization. So I guess it just depends on the department and where you work and how you guys work. But yeah, that's it. I'm sorry if I kind of felt like I was rambling on. Please give me feedback.